What's going on, everybody? This Afro Think Tank. Today, I want to address those black men who voted for Donald Trump, okay? The black men who voted for Donald Trump, because a lot of these black men think they're going to get away with it. You know, they think that we just going to let that shit slide in the black community of these sell-out, coon-ass Negroes who went in there and voted for Donald Trump because they hate black women. Because that's what it was. All of you non-intelligent black men who was so goddamn butthurt that a woman had the nerve to try to be the leader of this country. And something inside your weak black ass mind told you, I'd rather vote for the white supremacist neo-Nazi that has a history of disenfranchising black people, who has a history of calling for the death of black men in newspapers, even when proven to be innocent, who has a history of discriminating against black people in the real estate industry, who has a history of sexual assault on women, who have a history of being a criminal, who has been charged as a federal criminal. I have a problem with you black Negroes who call yourselves intelligent individuals who went in that booth and voted for the neo-Nazi who told you that the place you come from ain't shit, that you ain't shit, nothing but the help. I have a problem with black people who voted for a person that thought that when they got rid of the Mexicans that us black people was going to get back in them fields and work for them neo-Nazis. You see, you can't justify your vote. You can't move on to another grift. You can't move on to another topic, because when this shit is over, we're going to have a mass inquisition. Each group, Latinos, they're going to have a mass inquisition within their house about them guys, 40 to 60% of them that sold their soul to this white neo-Nazi. Them Asians, they're going to have to get on their own people. Be like, hey, why'd you vote for Donald Trump as a supposed rational human being? Right? So while everybody is fucking around and find out, including white people, who voted for Donald Trump because you just couldn't vote for that black woman, or because you hate women. There's a lot of men, because you can't get no punani, because you're not off the snuff to be chosen to get some punani, you chose the neo-Nazi over a black woman who was the most qualified woman, the most qualified person ever to run for the presidency. And look at the result of your vote. And that's the thing about it. Elections have real consequences. And if you voted for him the first time, you're a fool. But you get somewhat of a pass because you're just a naive fool. If you voted for him the second time, you don't get a pass. You're a fool and you're cynical and evil. If you voted for the third time, you're a subhuman fucking barbarian. You know why? Because after what he did the first time and showed you who he was, showed you how he tries to disenfranchise African Americans. Just because he comes on stage and say, yeah, African Americans built America, under his breath he's saying, yeah, because we made them niggas do it. That's what he's saying. You let one white man say a slightly positive thing, and that's all you needed to vote for him. Now look what he's doing. Now some of y'all regret y'all vote, right? If you voted for him the third time, there's no excuse for you. There's no excuse for you. The black community should never give you a pass because you've proven not once, not twice, but 3 times that you go against your community in every which way possible. You weren't paying attention when he was saying he was going to take down the statues of some of our most revolutionary leaders that was fighting for us black people. You weren't paying attention when the whole idea of a black person being in powerful positions was just DEI to white people. You weren't paying attention when he took funding away from our colleges while y'all guys was running your goddamn mouth, spilling that whack-ass propaganda saying Donald Trump funded HBCUs. When Donald Trump didn't do nothing with HBCUs, he defunded HBCUs. He disenfranchised HBCUs. You rather go off and be like white folk and pretend like y'all hold, especially you black conservative, you black Republican coons. All of you are coons. 80 to 90% of the black people, we all on board. That's the thing about it. There's no massive divide in the thinking of black people. You got black people who are proud black people who understand that they black, understand what that means in America and what political institutions we need to align ourselves with, whether perfect or imperfect, in order to move ourselves and advance ourselves in society. Then you got those coons who are Republicans. All of you, because the Republican Party, and we're not talking about the Republicans back in the goddamn 1800s. That just goes to show that none of y'all know anything about politics while infusing yourselves in politics. Not understanding that the Republicans and the Democrats had a switch. It's called the Great Replacement. There's literally books, movies, documentaries about it. But y'all run around with the same propaganda, spilling about how the Republicans 100,000 years ago used to be black. Those were liberal, progressive Republicans. Those liberal, progressive Republicans are now Democrat, liberal, and progressive Democrats. Those Dixiecrats, those conservative Dixiecrats and Democrats, the ones who created the KKK, are now conservative Republicans. But if you guys knew anything about politics, you would know that. But y'all take the easy route because that white man dangled them dollars over your head. You see, them dead slave-owning presidents are more important than your people. And a lot of y'all try to hide behind other movements. A lot of y'all try to hide your racism or your racism mixed in, wrapped in hip-hop wrapping paper. Y'all try to hide that shit because y'all get to the bag as if your fucking money means anything. Fuck you and your money. You don't mean shit. The world is bigger than this fucking dead president promissory notes that don't mean shit, seeing how the American dollar's going down. My people make me rich, not them dead presidents on them greenbacks. So yeah, you not pass and go, you're not collecting your $200. If you are a black Republican and you voted for Donald Trump, you are the enemy, no matter what fucking mask you wearing right now. And that's just the truth. All of you, Charleston fucking white. And if you told our people not to vote, Tariq motherfucking Nasheed, we already know he a motherfucking agent. You're part of the problem. Having our black men sit on the couch while we let the neo-Nazis come in and take over shit. Telling our people to be dull and don't do nothing, sit there and be quiet and don't participate in the political process, and then afterwards you complain about what's happened politically. When you can encourage our black men to sit their asses on the couch and not participate in politics. Life is politics. Don't tell me you don't vote. I ain't vote for nobody. That means you voted for the neo-Nazis that told you I'm coming to take over. You sat there and you let them walk right down your street, didn't challenge them at all. And now you complaining. Now all y'all complaining about what's happening. Now y'all feeling the heat. But y'all should have felt that shit the first time. But y'all didn't, because the level of ignorance amongst the black community, a small, almost insignificant but loud, ignorant group of black people, black men who hate black women so much, when you saw one that was going to make your life better, you said, fuck it, I'd rather burn this shit down than vote for her. That's some sad ass shit. Because you couldn't get no pussy when you was young. That's what it's all about. Everything's about you and your little dick. That's what it's about. Because you couldn't get your dick wet. Fuck the world, right? Ridiculous. But listen, never think for a minute that the black community is going to ever forgive you. Ever. Because you are, in fact, the enemy. If Harriet Tubman was alive, she would have shot you with a shotgun. You that one. You got the same DNA of those Africans that sold us into the transatlantic slave trade. That is you. That is you. You create your little fake ass movements like Foundational Black Americans who ain't nothing but black MAGA. All of you. Dumb idiots is what you guys are. Traitors to your community. You see me as a Pan-African. Let me tell you something. A lot of people think that Pan-Africanism has a bunch of different political ideologies and we all don't think the same thing. You see, that's bullshit and that's lazy thinking from people who don't know shit about Pan-Africanism. You can't just call yourself a fucking Pan-African if you voted for Trump. Nigga, you can't. I'm sorry. Those are oxymorons. You can't call yourself FBA and be a Pan-African, okay? Unless you say Foundational Black African. Because FBA is Black MAGA. A bunch of women-hating idiots who can't get cooch, right? So they mad at all black women. And all of a sudden, y'all black men talking about immigration. Since the fuck when did we care about some Mexicans, Latinos, and Asians coming to America when we in fact fought so they can come here? Literally. Your current rhetoric flies in the face of our political revolutionaries. Your current rhetoric flies in the face of the greater political movement in Black America. You see, Pan-Africanists are liberals and progressives. We want to liberate ourselves and progress as black people. If you are a Pan-African, your political affiliation with other Pan-Africans are similar, very similar, lined up within the same box. If you are a right-wing Christian conservative, if you lead first with your Christianity, Anton Daniels, you are a coon, because the tools that you use to justify your ignorance is the same tool that was used to enslave your ancestors. Don't think listen, black people are smarter than that. I know y'all, like a lot of y'all pander to the ignorance amongst us. But understand, there's intelligent people amongst us who's not going to allow that shit to fly. Okay? We're not going to let it fly. Pan-Africans are united. And all we sit there, we got the door open for anybody that want to come over. Right? But understand, if you come over to Pan-Africanism and you call yourself a Pan-African and pro-black, you gotta fall in line to this liberal and progressive policies that we promote. That we've been promoting since our inception. We are not, if conservatism, all right, is different for black people than it is for white people. Because in America, conservatism means to conserve white superiority. If you are a part of conservative Republican Party, you promote and you protect and you uphold and you uplift white conservatism, which is white neo-Nazi policies, white supremacy policies, period, cut and blank. No amount of word salad is going to change what that is, period. So all of you FBA weirdos, all of you black conservatives, all of you coons that keep trying to pump out some weird-ass American dream that has never existed, that keep trying to be a part of them white folks that tell you every day that you're not American, nigga. Every day they tell you ain't American. Yet you ain't got enough pride. You ain't got enough goddamn backbone. You ain't got enough black power to see that you ain't nothing but a tool, a peon. And then when they're done with you, they're going to eliminate you. So anyway, I just want to make that clear. I'm going to put some clips here. Yeah, some of them regret. Some of them just say how, I was stupid. I was stupid. But some of them double down. You know why? Because they're not good people. They're not decent human beings. They don't really care about their people. And black folks is tired of these snakes in the grass. It's time to go hunting. It's time to go hunting for these snakes in the grass and make some fucking leather shoes. That's what it's time to do. Because we cannot, in the age of information, while African people are empowering themselves and uplifting themselves, we can't let these snakes get in our grass. We can't let these pseudo-intellectuals, these pseudo-historians, these pseudo-political pundits, let them in the house to disturb what we got going on. We must identify them. Let them delineate over there and mark themselves with a new name so that we can identify them and separate them from the greater black community. And me and many other Pan-Africans and pro-blacks who are in this social media space are doing it just that. And I'm proud of us for that. We're not going to let up, and we never going to let them forget. If you hate your black woman, you hate half of yourself. If you hate your black woman, you hate your mother. If you hate your black woman, you hate your sister and your daughter. And you ain't shit. You shouldn't be a father, a son, or a husband. You deserve to be by yourself. And that is, in fact, the truth. Anyway, that's all I got to say. Tell me what you think in the comment section. Afro Think Tank, learn something, teach them. I'm out.
I don't know why we're acting surprised that a man who had close to 90 allegations out of 4 different jurisdictions and ultimately ended up with 34 convictions after a jury was able to hear all the evidence would possibly be committing a criminal act on January 6th. In fact, considering the fact that we are now under the impression that he is violating people's due process rights, he is ignoring court orders, he's starting wars without congressional authority in contradiction to the Constitution. He's enriching himself to the tune of over $1.4 billion. He's shaking down electeds to draw maps that will help him stay in power because the Republicans don't understand that they swore an oath to the Constitution and that we are supposed to do checks and balances. He's also shaking down TV stations to get money. So why are we trying to pretend as if it is out of the realm for this particular man to commit the crime that he committed on January January 6th. And frankly, the only reason he ran for president was to make sure that he would not be prosecuted, because I fully believe that you would have put him under the jail based on our long form conversation that we had. Let me be clear, because they're trying to act like this is Democrats on Republicans, and I guess you are a covert Democrat that knew that he was going to try to steal an election before he tried to steal that election, and so therefore you were somehow put into place. I mean, the conspiracy theories make your head spin. So let's talk about facts. Donald Trump lost to Joe Biden, yes or no?
That's correct.
Okay. In fact, 60 federal and state courts have found that there was no evidence of election fraud. Trump's own attorney general and vice president knew that he lost the election, but he still tried to steal the election by pressuring state officials, designing fake elector plans, nearly having Mike Pence hanged, and ultimately demanding that his supporters, quote, fight like hell, correct?
Correct.
As your report outlines, President Trump knew that he would incite violence at the Capitol that day. In fact, some of Trump's senior advisors were pushing for violence. John Eastman tried to convince Mike Pence to break the law, stating that, quote, violence was necessary. So it isn't just Trump who is responsible for the death of multiple law enforcement officers and the injuries of thousands of people. A lot of Republican members of Congress are also responsible. 147 Republicans voted to overturn the 2020 election results, including multiple members currently serving on this committee. And I will yield.
So how do you feel about the president, the job he's doing right now?
Well, I didn't vote for all this, okay?
You didn't?
No, I didn't. Because...
Okay, why did you vote for Trump?
Because, you know, Trump made a lot of promises on his campaign, and I really like what he was talking about. Like,
okay, like what? What was he talking about that made you vote for him?
Well, see, he just said things are going to get better, you know, and I believe...
Okay, I understand that. Most politicians say that. So what exactly did he say on that campaign trail to make you vote for him?
He talked about like Arnold Palmer's dingling and stuff. That was important. That we had to know that, you know.
That was important. Arnold Palmer's ding-a-ling.
And then like all those dogs out there that was getting ate by those immigrants and everything, by them Haitian immigrants, they was eating all those dogs and stuff, you know. And then he was talking about how these immigrants was taking black jobs, you know, and I don't think that's right.
Okay, what black job? What's a black job? Huh?
Well, see, a black job is like it's
picking cotton.
Now,
shining shoes.
No, that's not a black job.
Okay, what's a white job? Huh? What's a white job?
Because you see, Trump was like.
Said I've never seen so many black men worry about illegal immigration and abortion until they had to justify supporting Donald Trump.
Yeah.
Never. And I've been in politics since I've been a teenager and couldn't even vote. And I've never seen so many black men, oh, you know, these are legals. Oh, abortion. When I'm like, bro, you got like 3 baby mamas and your ass on the corner selling. Yeah. So it's like, tell me the reason. I respect you more if you say, hey, I don't want a brown woman in that chair. It was misogynistic. Got it. I didn't have a problem voting for the black dude. But you had a straight problem voting for a brown woman, and I don't claim she black or Indian because that's her thing. I'm like, for a brown woman who literally would have not, people like, oh, both sides of the coin. No, one is going to slit your throat. The other one might stab you. You get what I'm saying? I'm trying to get the one that's going to stab me. I got a better chance of surviving.
She had a plan for black
men.
She had a
whole
plan.
Plan. But it didn't matter
men.
because that ego, the same thing with Trump, though. That's why I told people I don't dislike Trump because Trump told you exactly who he was.
You got to respect that.
I said, but the same thing. Trump tapped into the base nature, especially in 2020, of what white men were feeling because real talk, white women did this whole pushing a toxic masculinity. And we was like, every man ain't toxic. What are y'all talking about?
I voted for Donald Trump, and I regret my vote. Okay? Yes, I'm a black man, and I have fucked around and found out, all right? Let me tell you, when I voted, I thought I was voting for the economy, I done lost my trucking job, and see what's going on. It kind of hurt me, and I'm kind of embarrassed because if I go back and do it again, you know what I'm saying? I mean, I know I should listen to everybody, but I just had to go ahead and take my licks, you know what I'm saying? Cause it's time, for a lot of us that we blacks for Trump. Let me tell you something. I apologize. I have fucked around and found out my goddamn self. And I hope that next time, if there is next time, I can do better. Now, I know that a lot of y'all gonna have a lot to say, and I just want to apologize.
Trump management was charged with discriminating against African Americans and breaking federal law. Donald Trump, then just 27, was president of the company. The Department of Justice accused the Trumps of violating the Fair Housing Act, arguing they were turning away renters based on race and color. Who tipped them off? Local activists, so-called testers, posing as potential renters at Trump's buildings, mainly in Brooklyn and Queens.
They may have been shown apartments, but were told nothing was available. Whereas when the white testers came, yes, there were things that were available. That would be the norm.
And if the Trumps did rent to a black person, Goldweber recalls, they would do so only at one building in Brooklyn, reserving the other buildings for white tenants.
That the white people would live in Trump Village and the people of color would live in Flatbush.
And according to the Justice Department, they even had a secret coding system to do it, a racial code. Here's how.
Some of the applications were marked with a C, which we learned that it meant colored, so that the prospective tenants who had come in were noted to be colored.
We have seen the very words used to describe Black Americans' experience with slavery and discrimination erased from federal recognition. We have seen websites purged of Black people's contribution to this country.
President Donald Trump chose to commemorate Juneteenth with a social media post complaining about the number of non-working holidays in the year.
President Trump promised to usher in a society that was
colorblind and merit-based.
Since taking office, President Trump ordered the Department of Interior to restore Confederate monuments that have been removed across the country over the past 5 years. We now have schools across the country facing the threat of losing federal funding if they support curricula such as Black and ethnic studies. Nowhere has the impact of these orders been more felt than at the Department of Defense.
I think the single dumbest phrase in military history is our diversity is our strength.
Black people have fought and died in every single war since this country's founding. It is a source of pride, and the fact that it is there that we are seeing the most aggressive efforts to remove that deeply seated piece of pride among this population has been devastating. They had to restore websites back after public outcry. When I speak to administration officials about this topic, they see these orders as a course correction from the last administration, who they believe largely engaged in very performative policy making, which this administration believes amounted to what they call reverse discrimination against white people. For historians who study Black history in particular, this all harkens back to some of the most painful times in Black history, a dehumanization of Black people in the face of progress.
And our country will be woke no longer.
What these orders have done is signal to this country whose history matters.
Okay, so Trump has been in office for 9 months now, and just think about how much race has played into his presidency so far. 1, he blamed a plane crash on DEI before knowing who the pilot was. 2, he has sent his lawyers to museums to vet not all of the exhibits, but just the exhibits specifically on slavery. 3, he quietly removed the MLK bust from the Oval Office. 4, he has made racial profiling into official government policy, allowing ICE officers to stop people just because they have brown skin. 5, he has blown up 64 people on boats who also happen to have brown skin. He's not blowing up European boats. 6, he has all but halted our very popular refugee program except for white South Africans. 7, he has raided inner cities in the middle of the night with Black Hawk helicopters. 8, he has cut food stamps and Medicaid after a 40-year effort started by Reagan to tie those programs to Black and brown people in order to vilify the social safety net, even though more benefits go to white people than any other group. And 9, he has cut trillions of dollars in taxes for rich white guys, and he's doing it all in the name of a brown-skinned Palestinian Jew named Jesus. So the next time you blame us for making it all about race, remember that Trump already has.
Y'all, Trump is firing the Black people. One by one, the Black faces inside his administration are vanishing, fired by email, text, or in the dead of night. Robert E. Primus was one of them, blindsided by a message that ended his career with a single click. What's happening isn't random. It's a purge, a quiet resegregation of federal power. Primus is the first Black chair of the Surface Transportation Board, but now he joins a growing list of Black officials abruptly ousted from the Trump administration. From General Charles Q. Brown Jr., the nation's top military officer, to Carla Hayden, the first Black librarian of Congress. Even Lisa Cook, the first Black woman on the Federal Reserve's board, had to sue to keep her seat. His administration's reasoning? They don't align with the president's agenda. But when almost every replacement, every one of them, is white, it starts to look less like realignment and more like resegregation. Of 98 top Senate confirmed appointees in his first 200 days, only 2, just 2%, are Black, despite Black people making up 13% of the U.S. population. Compare that to Biden's 21%. Obama's was even higher. As one expert put it, Trump likes Black faces behind his podiums, just not behind his policies. For decades, federal service has been a ladder to the Black middle class. Steady work, fair pay, dignity. But today, that ladder's being yanked away rung by rung. Or as former board member Janine Wilcox said after her own late night firing, we had targets on our backs by virtue of the color of our skin. Welcome to Project 2025, y'all, where a text message can end a career and where thank you for your service sounds a lot like don't call us back. Y'all stay woke now.
Okay, I have a confession to make, Consider the fact that I am Black. I've been Black my whole life, and I plan on being Black for the rest of my life. For the next 150 years, I plan on being on this planet. I'm going to be Black. Now, here's the secret. I did vote for Donald Trump. Yeah, surprise. I know most people don't know that, but it's kind of out of the ordinary. But yeah, I voted for Donald Trump. But I'm going to explain to y'all the reason why I regret voting for Trump. Okay, I'm going to spend the next 5 seconds explaining to y'all why I regret voting for Donald Trump. And I'm finally willing to admit it. Here we go.
Trump went on Fox News and basically said, we shouldn't have kicked the immigrants out. The farmers ain't got nobody.
People Trump deported, y'all should be proud. Because Trump just sat on Fox Live and said the quiet part out loud. Trump just said, I kicked all of them out too fast. We thought once we kicked them out, all the people in urban communities, aka black people, was gonna get back in these fields.
I know goddamn well Trump didn't think that we was finna get back in the motherfucking fields. So Trump gonna get his ass on goddamn TV talking about he prematurely deported the illegals that was working in the farms.
So now Cheeto Puff is saying that he want to bring the immigrants back to the United States because the inner city people, us, are not getting in the field like he thought that we were going to. Y'all really voted for that big soggy Cheeto Puff to sit up here and play Jeopardy with our lives? He is literally playing Jeopardy with the American lives, and y'all sat there and voted for that.
So y'all want to tell me DJT together with his minions called MAGA, they thought black people are going to go back to the fields? No, you want to tell me DJT sat down and he was like, yeah, together with Vance, if we take away these immigrants, black people are going to go back to the fields. They're going to go walk on those strawberry farms. They're going to pick that coffee. They will go to Walmart and grab those jobs. They will run to FedEx and grab those jobs. All those lower paying jobs. We need black people to fill them. Let's take away the immigrants. And you want to tell me now DJT is realizing black people ain't taking those jobs? And now he's realizing it was too early for him to kick away the immigrants? No, because stop. Man spent money, American taxpayers' money to bring the Afrikaners into America. Hi, Afrikaners, how are you doing? I don't even know how y'all doing. Y'all are so quiet on the internet. He spent money, and Mr. Elon Musk, to bring the Afrikaners into America. And they were not good enough to replace the immigrants. And the African Americans were like, oh baby, we ain't coming to the farms. You need to find yourself a plan. Well, white people, y'all on the farms, walk on the farms. I love me some black people. Black people are petty. No, because black people like, white people, y'all cannot do the job well. Your racism is costing you. Y'all are advocating for the immigrants to go back home. Now y'all businesses are suffering. Black people are cheating and having a good time, baby. They are so unfazed they don't care. Ladies and gentlemen, before we even go any further, let me show you some people's reactions, because these ones, they got me.
Trump just said, I kicked all of them out too fast. We thought once we kicked them out, all the people in urban communities, aka black people, was gonna get back in these fields. Trump! What the hell you thought this was? Selma? Hell no, we ain't doing that. Nigga, we'll sell t-shirts on our truck before we do that. I hope that wasn't part of the game plan originally. Trump said, listen, we got to get some of the people that we kicked out of the country back. We got to get them back legally. We'll give them their papers and all. We ain't got no damn farmers. You didn't think about this before you kicked them out? Huh? Listen, the last people who were doing that, their last name was Tubman and shit like that. We ain't into that no more. We got black businesses. We'll figure it out here.
I ain't voting for Kamala. She ain't black. She ain't never did nothing for black people, and she ain't planning to do nothing for black people. Y'all stupid if you're voting for Kamala. Y'all need to be smart and vote for Trump like me. Vote for the candidate who said he's going to defund any school that teach critical race theory or black history the way it's supposed to be taught. The candidate who said he ain't going to defund the police, but instead give them complete immunity. The candidate who said he ain't gonna give no reparations to my people. The candidate who called where my ancestors came from, shithole countries, okay? The candidate who's not a black woman.
Hey, I'm just here to let y'all know I will never forgive y'all for allowing Trump to get a second term. I'll never forgive you for saying that you're a Democrat and throwing your vote away or sitting at home over a genocide happening halfway around the world that no matter who the president was, could not control Israel. Because y'all don't know how Congress works. Y'all don't know how money gets appropriated. Y'all don't know shit. Y'all just be talking. Talking and not reading. I'll never forgive y'all. Never. Never forgive you. But I love you and I hope you enjoy the rapture this week. In Charlie Kirk's name. Amen.
And this is a message for fellow black men out there. If you vote for Donald Trump for whatever reason, to include the fact that you hate black women and did not want to see Kamala Harris as president, it is what it is. I'm not going to tell a grown man who they can and cannot vote for. But while you're dancing around like a house Negro who's finally allowed to sit at the table, don't get too comfortable disrespecting black women in the process. A lot of you didn't vote for her because of your disdain for black women. Let's be real. Everybody's talking about keeping it a buck, keeping it 100, whatever you want to call it. Let's be straight up. But remember who your mother is. Remember that that same black woman you hate is the one who decided to give you life however many years ago. Remember what your daughters are going to look like. Our community is notorious for having crabs in a pot syndrome. And remember, they're going to put you back in the field once they're done using you. That is, if they're not done with you already.
Okay, I want to take a moment to say thank you to Donald Trump, not out of praise, but out of truth. Because while you rip through every part of this government, tearing down justice, equality, and fairness under the fake excuse of fighting DEI fraud, what you're really doing is confirming what black folks have been saying for generations. America was built on racism, fueled by fear and sustained by white supremacy. You've exposed it all. The masks are off. The polite racism, the fake allyship, the colorblind lies, it's all gone. Now we see it raw and unfiltered. You're not just targeting policy, you're targeting people. Black people, brown people, marginalized communities. And the wild part, we make up the smallest portion of this country, yet somehow we are the biggest threat to the lie that white supremacy built. That should tell you everything. You're afraid not of violence, not of replacement, but of the power we hold even when we have nothing. You see the way our culture, our brilliance, our resilience, our excellence continues to shape this country, even when it tries to erase us. Donald Trump is just the loudest version of a system that's always been in place. He is the living, breathing proof that this country was never designed with us in mind. And yet, we continue to define it. So thank you, Donald, for exposing what so many tried to deny, for showing the world that the fear of black greatness is real, for proving that racism isn't in our imagination, it's in the fabric of this nation. And to my people, we don't have to fight to prove our worth. He's doing that for us. All we have to do is stand firm, stay awake, and know that the truth is finally louder than the lie. We are not broken. We are not the problem. We are the evidence of the power that this country can contain. Let that truth ring louder than its hate.
Free Sudan! Boycott diamonds and gold! Free Sudan! Boycott diamonds and gold! We most definitely cannot forget about the people of Sudan.
Thanks for watching Afro Think Tank. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And follow me on Substack and Patreon for more content. Remember, it's Pan-Africanism or nothing.